Hi, good morning. Okay. So, ngayon, pag-aralan natin ngayon ng English ha, mga bata. Okay. So, good morning. This is Ate Glo of Ate Glo's Tutorial Services. Okay. So, gusto ko pong magpasalamat sa inyong lahat na patuloy na sumusuporta at nanonood ng aking mga vlogs. Okay. Ito po ay talagang ginawa natin para sa inyong mga estudyante para po makatulong sa inyo. Okay. So, what you call this? If you like this video, again, na mapapanood ninyo, please make a thumbs up. And doon po sa mga hindi pa nakapag-subscribe, mag-subscribe po kayo, hit the bell, yung all, para nang kung meron pong bagong vlog si Ate Glo, what you call this, ma-notify kayo. And patuloy po naman ninyong suportahan ng aking channel. And kung nais po ninyong ma-share sa inyong ibang ka-classmates, okay, you can do it, no? Para po ito talaga sa mga estudyante, okay? Especially sa mga nahihirapan sa kanilang mga modules, okay? So, ganito. Ang topic natin ngayon is about active and passive voice, okay? Active and passive voice. Okay, dun sa Pilipino, ipakita ko lang, ito i-intro ko lang sa inyo para nang makita ninyo gano'n lang kadali ang active at passive voice, okay? Dun sa atin sa Pilipino, meron tayo kasing, let's say, ang bawa, ang nanay ay nagluto. Yan, di ba? Ito yung ating karaniwang ayos. Okay? So, ngayon, kapag yan ibinaliktad natin, pwede natin sabihin na nagluto ang nanay. Di ba? So, kung mapapansin ninyo, nawala ang ay. Okay? But just the same, still the message is there. Ang nanay ay nagluto. Okay? Dito, ang pinag-uusapan natin ay ang nanay. Siya yung subject, siya yung paksa. Ay nagluto, siya yung pandiwa, okay? Siya yung verb. Okay? So, kapag pinaliktad natin, nagluto ang nanay. Still, andito pa rin ang paksa, still the subject is here, and then the verb. Ano ang nagkaiba? Yung kanilang posisyon. Okay? So, ganun din dun sa inyong module, sa inyong worksheet, doon sa regarding sa active at passive voice. Ano bang pagkakaiba nun, Ate Glo? Okay, ganito yan, ha? Okay, so dito, sabi natin, the way we live, internet changes. So, it is not in order. So, you have to fix it. Okay? So, dito, pwede natin sabihin na, internet changes the way we live. Okay? So, from here, we have to determine which one is the subject. That is the internet. Then, changes, that is the verb. Tapos, so on na lang yung the rest of the phrase, no? The rest of the sentence. Okay. Internet changes, okay? The way we live. Dito yan na, active voice. Bakit active voice? Kasi, andito ang subject followed by the verb. So, ngayon, baliktarin natin para makita ninyo paano ba yung active voice sa Ate Glo. Okay, ganito yan, ha? Dito, lalagay natin, okay? The way we live, okay? The way we live. Okay, andun yung internet, diba? The way we live was changed. Okay? By internet. Okay, nakuha niya? Ha? The way we live was changed by internet. Nandun tayo ngayon sa passive voice. Okay, next. Number 2 naman. Sa next. Sabi natin, millions of lives by this global crisis was affected. Okay, sulat natin para makita ninyo, ha? Although nandyan yan sa inyong worksheet. Millions of lives, okay, by this global crisis, was affected. Okay, now, how are we going to rephrase this one? Okay, millions of lives by this global crisis was affected. Actually, may message siya, no? Now, tingnan natin ngayon, ano ba ang pinag-uusapan? Millions of lives. Okay, lagay natin ngayon dito. Millions of lives. Okay, siya ngayon yung subject natin. Okay? Ilagay natin ngayon itong verb natin, was affected, no? Okay, so was affected, ay, okay, kung ganito ang lalagay natin, millions of lives was affected by this global crisis, okay? by this global crisis. Okay. So, this is still in passive voice. Ito ang passive voice pa rin. Okay. Bakit? Kasi, ito ang ating subject. Actually, pwedeng pwedeng millions of lives ang inyong subject. Pwede rin global crisis no? Ngayon, ganito gawin natin. Tingnan natin ngayon i-analyze ninyo. Kung gagawin natin this global crisis. Okay, ganito yan. Kung gagawin ninyong this global crisis, okay, affected. Yan. Millions of lives. Kita yan, di ba? Millions of lives. Okay. So, paano nangyari, Ate Glo? Kita nyo, ni-rearrange. This global crisis affected millions of lives. Okay. So, dito, ang naging subject ay ang global crisis. Affected, ito yung inyong verb. So, siya ngayon ay nandoon sa active voice. Okay. Nasa active voice siya. Paano mo ngayon yan ita-turn into passive voice, Ate Glo? Pwede natin gawin ganito. Global crisis, hindi, ganun talaga, ito na yung millions of lives was affected by this global crisis. Okay, so nandito ang inyong verb at ang inyong subject ang doer. Kuha nyo? Okay, so yun teka, tingnan ko lang ulit baka mali tayo. Millions of lives by this global crisis was affected. So, millions of lives was affected by this global crisis. This global crisis affected millions of lives. Okay? So, okay, so tama naman. Okay? So, next, dito tayo. Orientation, the school. Okay, palitan ko lang to Okay. Para ma-determine niyo paano ba yung active at saka passive. Kasi nalilito sila, hindi nila masagutan at nagugulo ang mabuti. Okay. Ito, lagay natin orientation. Okay. Orientation. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so orientation. Okay, school before the opening. Okay, school before the opening. Okay. Before the opening of classes conducts. Before the opening of classes conducts. Okay, so ito ngayon, tingnan natin, alin ngayon ang inyong subject? Ang subject ninyo ngayon dito ay ang school. Okay, so it should begin here. So, the school. Okay, asan ang kanyang verb? Ayun, conducts. Okay. Okay, the school conducts orientation before the opening of classes. Ganun dapat ang pagkaka-arrange niya, okay? The school conducts orientation. O, ganyan mga bata ganito yung gagawin okay? Okay, ito na, sunod yun na to. Before the opening of classes. Okay, so in that case, kapag ganyan ang inyong arrangement, here is your subject, andito yung pinag-uusapan, andito yung inyong verb, okay? Ito ngayon ay nasa active voice. Okay, nasa active voice yan. Paano yan ngayon, Ate Glo, magiging passive voice? Okay, ganito ngayon. Lalagay natin ngayon, orientation. Okay. Orientation was, okay, itong conduct ninyo, okay, was conducted by, okay, the school. Was conducted by the school. Okay, so pwede natin ilagay before the opening of classes. Okay, so tuloy nyo na lang yun. Okay, and so on, no? Dito, ang subject natin na school, nandito sa huli. Pero nauna ang kanyang verb. Okay, so kapag ang subject natin ay kapag ang subject ay ang doer ng action, okay, siya ay nasa active voice. Kapag ang subject natin ay ang receiver ng verb, ang action, siya ngayon ay nasa passive voice. Okay, so from here, mapapansin ninyo, ang kanyang verb nasa present form. From here, nasa past nasa past tense na siya. Okay? Kaya kailangan aware tayo. Paano natin i-determine na siya ay nasa active voice at the same time, paano siya magiging passive voice. Okay, so yan ha. Okay, next. Isa pa. Active and passive voice. So, ibig sabihin, meron pala tayong babalik na rin at iglo. Yes, babalik na rin natin, ha? Okay, next. So, sabi niya dito, amidst crisis. Okay, amidst crisis, frontliners untiringly serve the country. Untiringly serve the country. Okay. Okay? So, dito ngayon, sino ba pinag-uusapan natin? Ang frontliners. Okay, so, saan lalagyan natin ang subject? Frontliners. Ano yung verb natin? Ayun, no? Untiringly serve the country. Untiringly serve the country amidst crisis. Okay? Frontliners, untiringly serve the country amidst crisis. Ganun nyo i-arrange siya. Okay, kapag ganyan, ito ang inyong subject, ito ang inyong verb, okay? So, ito ngayon ay nasa active voice. Paano naman siya ngayon ang tignan magiging passive voice? Ito ngayon. Ilagay natin ngayon ng teka, parang kahit ako nalito ko. Okay. Italagay natin ngayon ng ito. So, the country was untiringly served, okay, by frontliners, okay, amidst crisis. Okay, nasaan ngayon ang ating verb? Andito ang ating verb, andito ang ating subject. So, nakuha nyo? So, kapag ganyan ang arrangement natin, so now, dito ngayon, siya ay nasa passive voice. So, nakita nyo? Yun yung kaibahan ng active voice sa passive voice. Okay? Next, isa pa. Sabi natin dito, will not shatter this pandemic our hopes. Okay. Will not shatter this pandemic our hopes. Okay. So, paano natin ngayon i-rearrange yan? Okay, so, tingnan natin, ha? So, from here, ang subject natin ay our hopes. Yun yung ating pinag-uusapan. Okay? So, our hopes will not shatter. Tama ba? Okay. Bigyan natin ng, pwede natin ilagay ng this pandemic pala. Sorry. Kapag ginawa natin our hopes, ano na siya, nasa passive voice na kagad siya. Okay? So, lagay natin dito. This pandemic, okay, will not shatter our hopes. Okay? This pandemic will not shatter, okay, our hopes. Okay, so this is the subject and then this is the verb. Nasa active voice siya. Paano siya magiging passive voice? Okay? Sa magiging passive voice siya, our hopes, okay, will not be shattered. Okay, by this pandemic. Okay? By this pandemic. So now, nasa passive voice siya ngayon. Okay? Now, so tingnan natin. Isa pa. Okay? The other one, we have entire stretch the crew of the highway paved. Okay, so entire stretch. Pag sinabing entire stretch, yung kahabaan. Entire stretch, okay, the crew of the highway paved. The crew of the highway. Pave. Pave the way, okay. Sabi niya nga no, pave the way, okay. Nilinis ang daan. Okay. Entire stretch, the crew of the highway pave. Okay, so yan yung labas doon sa worksheet niya. Okay, paano natin ngayon gagawin? Okay? So dito, ang ating pinaka-subject is the crew. Ayan. Ito yung subject natin. The crew, okay, pave. The crew pave the entire stretch of the highway. The entire stretch of the highway. Okay, now, how are you going to make this? This now is in active voice. Active voice, ha? Okay, so active. How are you going to rephrase that para maging passive voice? Okay, so ito nga yung gagawin natin. So, the crew is the subject, pave is the verb. Okay, so baliktarin natin ngayon. Okay, the entire stretch of the highway okay, ito yung inyong verb. Okay, pave was paved, okay, by the crew. Okay natin. Was paved by the crew. Okay, so kuha niya mga bata. Ayan ha. So nakita niyo, di ba? The crew, siya yung subject. Andun siya. Okay, subject niya. Okay? Pave the entire stretch of the highway. Ito yung nasa active voice nyo. Now, if you're going to rephrase that, okay, into passive voice, ito siya ngayon. The entire stretch of the highway was paved by the crew. Still siya pa rin yung subject. Ito ngayon yung inyong verb. Okay? So, nagkaroon ng changes. Kung mapapansin niyo, nagkaroon ng changes pagdating dito. Kasi meron na tayong was. So, it has a linking verb on the subject, on the verb. Okay? Next. Lagay pa natin yung isa pa. Okay? Tapusin natin para makasagot kayo. Ha? Okay? Kay ano ba to? Kay Ikay at saka kay ano pala to? Kay Ella. Kay Eliza. No? Okay, so here we have, will address global leaders the COVID-19 pandemic next week. Okay, tingnan natin paano natin i-arrange to mga bata. Will address global leaders the COVID-19 pandemic, okay? The COVID-19 pandemic. Mahaba na ang English ng mga grade 7, no? Next week. Kaya dapat talaga elementary pa lang. Nagtsatsaga na tayo, ha? Para kung dumating itong mga ganitong English, at least you would know how to translate. And at the same time, meron tayong comprehension. Hopefully, everyone would be able to understand, no? Kung ano yung sinasabi ng sentence. We'll address global leaders the COVID-19 pandemic next week. So, how are we going to rephrase that? Para siya ay maging active voice. Okay, so sabi natin dito, ano pang pinag-usapan natin dito? Etong global leaders. Ayan. So, ngayon, siya yung gawin nating subject. Okay, ganyan na. So, global leaders. Okay. Ito yung inyong subject. Okay. Ang inyong ngayong verb, will address. Okay? The COVID-19 pandemic next week. O, ituloy-tuloy nyo na yun. Diba? The COVID-19 pandemic next week. Okay, so kung ganito ang arrangement natin, global leaders, the subject, okay, will address, ito yung inyong verb, okay? So again, siya ay nasa active voice, ha? Active voice ito nga mga bata, ha? This is in active voice. Now, paano natin i-rephrase para maging passive voice? Okay, ito naman, ha? Gawin natin. The COVID-19 pandemic. Pwede nyo ituloy na next week. Okay? So, anong mangyayari? Ito ngayon. Will be addressed. Okay? Ito ngayon na ipapalit natin. Will be addressed. Okay? By global leaders. By the global leaders. Okay. So, nakita niya. Dito naman, the COVID-19 pandemic next week will be addressed by the global leaders or by global leaders. So, from here, ito yung inyong verb. And then, andito ang ating subject. So, kapag kaganda ng arrangement natin, so definitely, this is now in passive voice. Yan. So, para nun, doon sa inyong module, sa inyong worksheet, ha? You would be able to answer your module, your worksheet, I mean, dahil na ipakita na natin ano ang kaibahan ng passive voice as well as ano ang kaibahan ng active voice. Okay? So, mga bata, ha? Kailangan i-ano natin, pagsikapan natin ang inyong pag-aaral. Okay, next. Dito sa number 9, sabi niya, students question answers the teachers always. Okay, sige na nga, tapusin na nga natin. Sabi nila, bakit daw hindi pa tapusin ng ilahat na? Okay, sige. So, next number, we have, baka meron tayong nakalimutan, ha? Okay, so ito, next, students questions. Okay. Students questions. Okay. Students questions. Okay. Students apostrophe. Kung papansin nyo, merong apostrophe dito. Bakit may apostrophe, Ate Glo? Sa next vlog natin, ituturo natin yan. Itataon lang natin na very timely doon sa inyo pinag-aaralan. Answers, the leader, the teacher always. The teacher always. Ayan. Ayun, sakit sa ulo, tigno, oo nga. The teacher always. Okay now. So, dito ngayon, sino ngayon yung subject natin dito? Yung teacher. Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So, here, lagay natin dito. The teacher. Yan. So, si teacher, siya yung ating subject. Okay? The teacher always. Yan. Answers, no? The teacher answers. Dapat itong always natin ilagay natin sa bandang huli. Kasi dito, meron na tayong S, meron pa tayong S dito. Always answers. Alam mo yan, redundant, paulit-ulit, no? Ang natin. Pero pwede naman. O sige, ganito kayo natin para mas malinis. The teacher answers. Okay? The teacher answers. Okay, ayun no, students. Students. Students, ibig sabihin na students, tapos apostrophe, ibig sabihin mga estudyante, no? Students questions always. Students questions always. Yan. Okay, so ito na yan. Ito na ngayon, kapag ganito siya, it is now in active voice. Okay, now, i-rephrase natin. Paano gawin natin? The questions, no? Dito ngayon, balikan rin natin. Students questions. Okay, lagay natin. Students questions Okay? Students' questions. Okay, marami, no? Gawin natin ngayon ng were. Bakit were? Kasi siya yung past tense na past ng what you call this, ng para sa marami. Kapag nag-iisa, we have to use was. Okay, kapag marami, were. Students' questions were. Yan na. Answer, magiging answered. Okay? Answered. Always. Okay? By the teacher. By the teacher. Okay. So from here, nasaan ang inyong verb? Ito. Were answered ang inyong verb. Okay? By the teacher, ito ang inyong subject. Okay. So kapag ganyan ang inyong arrangement, definitely, siya ay nasa passive voice. Still, nandun pa rin yung message, no? Kung makikita nyo lang, binaliktad lang, no? Okay? So, dito tingnan natin. Itong always, ano ba itong always sa atiglo? Yung always, yan ang inyong adverb of time. Okay? Students' questions were answered always by the teachers, no? Okay? So, next, ano pa? Politicians. Okay, so tingnan natin. Okay, so dito siya. Politicians, the citizens. Okay. Politicians, the citizens. Assured of their safety. Assured of their safety. Okay, now. Tingnan natin ngayon dito. Alin ang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Pwede natin ilagay ng politicians assured of their safety, the citizens. Okay, gawin natin ngayon dito, ilagay natin ang the citizens, no? The citizens assured of their politicians. Okay, their safety. Yan, ilagay natin na ating their safety. Okay? Kapag dito, their safety, tingnan nyo their safety, okay, was assured, was assured, okay, by the politicians. Medyo magulo, no? Okay, so tingnan natin. Gawin natin ngayon ng the citizens safety was assured, okay, by the politicians. By the politicians. Okay, so paano nyo ngayon siya i-analyze? By the politicians. Okay, sabi natin, the citizen's safety was assured by the politicians. Okay, ito ang ating verb. Politicians, ito ang ating subject. So, ibig sabihin, siya ay nasa passive voice. Okay? Paano natin siya ngayon ilalagay ng active voice? Okay, ganito yan. The politicians, okay? Okay? The politicians assured. Okay? The citizen's safety. The citizens' safety. Okay. So, maliwanag ba? Meron ba tayo dito ng apostrophe? Wala. Wala nakalagay. Okay. The politicians assured the citizens' safety. Okay. Dito, ang politicians, ang ating subject dito, siya ang ating verb. Okay. Kapag ganito ang ayos natin, so that means it is in active voice. Okay. So, ito, wala na ito. Alisin ko na ito. The safety was assured. Okay. Kailangan kasi isingit natin yung citizens kasi makukulangan tayo. Okay, so ito siya ngayon. Kanya? Okay, so hopefully, this is from 1 to 10. Hopefully guys, nakatulong sa inyo, especially sa ating mga grade 7 students. Okay, Ikay, ito na yung lesson nyo na ha. Eliza, ito yung lesson nyo ha. Okay, so meron pa tayo dito. Tingnan natin. Okay. What do you call this? The Department of Health spearheaded the cleanup drive to fight against dengue. Okay. So, dito, dun sa inyong next page, okay, tingnan natin dito sa inyong next page, meron pa kayo dyan sa day 3, okay? The Department of Health spearheaded the cleanup. Okay, so ito yan. The Department of Health, okay, spearheaded the cleanup. Okay. Spearheaded. Okay, sige pinamunahan, no? The cleanup drive. Okay. The cleanup drive. Cleanup. Okay. Hyphenated the hyphen. Cleanup drive to fight against dengue. To fight against dengue. Okay. Okay, so paano yan? The Department of Health spearheaded the cleanup drive to fight against dengue. So dito, andito ang ating Department of Health as the subject. Spearheaded, siya yung kanyang verb. Okay? Spearheaded the cleanup drive. Okay. Now, tingnan natin. So, sabi niyo dyan, transform the following sentences from active to passive and vice versa. Kung siya ay nasa active voice, gagawin niyo siya ngayong passive voice. Okay? So, definitely, ito ay nasa active kasi ang inyong verb, ang inyong subject ay nasa unahan, followed by the verb. Okay, now gawin natin ngayon siyang passive. Okay, so paano gawin nyo? Ganito ngayon. The cleanup drive, okay, to fight against dengue, okay? Yan. The cleanup drive. So, dito kayo nag-umpisa sa bandang gitna. No? Kanya? The cleanup drive to fight against dengue. Okay. Now, eto nga yung gagawin natin. Was. Ito yung ating living verb. Okay. Was spearheaded. Okay. By the Department of Health. By the Department of Health. Okay. So, ito ngayon, nagawa niyo na siyang baliktarin. The Department of Health. Okay. So, from here, ito na siya. Ang ating ngayong verb, okay, ay nandito. Ito ang ating verb. Ito ang inyong subject. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ganito ang ayos natin, this is now in passive voice. Yan. Okay? So, yan. Ganyan-ganyan ninyo. Ito na yung magiging sagot ninyo doon sa inyong worksheet. Kasi ito yung given doon eh. So, ang sabi niya doon, you have to transform the following sentences. Transform the following sentences. If it is in active voice, you have to make it in passive voice. If it is in passive voice, you have to transform it into active voice. So, papalitan, babalikan lang. Okay? So, next, number 2. Okay? So, tingnan natin Next, number 2 should be Pope Francis. Okay? Pope Francis reminded everyone to be prayerful prayerful, especially at this critical time. At this critical time. Okay. So, si Pope Francis, siya yung ating subject. Okay? Reminded, this is now our verb. Okay? So, that is now in active voice. Okay? So, if it is in active voice, kailangan ninyo siya ngayong i-transform into active voice. Paano ngayon ang inyong gagawin? Okay? So, dito ka ngayon mag-umpisa. Tingnan natin dito tayo ngayon mag-umpisa para maging passive siya. So, dito ka ngayon mag-umpisa. Everyone. Everyone. Okay? Was reminded everyone was reminded to be prayerful by Pope Francis especially at this time. Especially at this critical time. At this pala, sorry dalawa pala yun. At this critical time. Okay, so there it is. Okay? So nakita natin, everyone was reminded, okay, so ito ang inyong verb. To be prayerful by Pope Francis, this is the subject, especially at this critical time. So, pwede rin naman gawin ninyo na everyone was reminded to be prayerful, especially at this critical time by Pope Francis nung nandun na siya sa dulo. No? Okay? So, basta dito, tandaan nyo, nauna ang verb, sunod ang subject. So, it is now in passive voice. Okay? Okay, it is now in passive voice. Okay? So, mga bata, tandaan ninyo kaya natin iniisa-isa ito, kaya natin ito ginagawang mabagal, kaya natin ito ginagawang Tagalog, is para makatulong sa inyo. Okay? Para noon, lahat ang mga batang Pilipino ay maging matalino in our own way. Kasi, nakita naman natin ang hirap ng ating pag-aaral ngayon, no? Ng ating online. Pero tsagain nyo lang, ha? Tsagain nyo lang. Okay, so we have here, the Poor but Deserving Students request financial support from the Alumni Foundation. Okay, so sabi niya, the Poor but Deserving Students. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung subject. The Poor but Deserving Students, okay? The poor but deserving students, okay, request financial support. Request financial support, okay, from the Alumni Foundation. From the Alumni Foundation. Okay. Yan. Okay. So, ito yan the poor but deserving students request financial support from the Alumni Foundation. Okay, mabanggit ko lang. Salamat sa Alumni Foundation ng Santa Isabel College. Okay, ito na po ako. Ito na po si Ate Glo. Okay? Ako po ay graduate ng Santa Isabel College 1987. Okay? Ganun na po katanda si Ate Glo. Okay? So, the poor but deserving students request financial support from the Alumni Foundation. Okay? So, tingnan natin ngayon. Dito ngayon, the poor, okay, but deserving students, no? The poor but deserving students, ito ang inyong subject. Okay, asa ng ating verb? Ito, request. Okay, so now, tingnan natin ngayon. how are you going to, this is now in active voice, okay? Active voice yan, mga bata ha? Okay. Paano natin ngayon i-rephrase pa para siya ay maging active voice? Okay. Tingnan natin. Financial support. Okay.